recorded, it's gonna watch it later.
Yeah, it's gonna be recorded.
Okay.
I caught it, so, yeah, it should be. Well, then you just video, you know, ready to go. But again, it's just a YouTube video account.
So,
It's not being like out, so.
Gotcha.
I need to know
Did
when
you
to
do
go.
that? Okay.
Reverse
So I could
mortgage on that
potentially.
one.
I did the flyer.
You did?
On.
Could you
Mine
send it
didn't.
to me?
Yeah.
Because I asked you for it.
Yes, presentations,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I will, yeah.
Yeah.
On that, cause you
Hybrid
already done it
version
for
of
me,
the
you just
Right.
had to do it for.
Well, actually, cause, your information wasn't on it.
So
Oh,
like.
okay.
So I just changed, like, it said coming soon.
Oh, okay.
And I just changed her name right now, that's all I did.
Oh,
There we go.
Okay. You can always tell them twice.
Start our minutes and
Oh,
guess.
Right? Watch the video first.
Well, I just support them.
Just be like, oh, sorry. Yes.
Or like, my computer getting ready to leave.
So home.
But no, that's good to know when you have information.
Yeah, yeah.
You can share it. So,
I hate doing that.
that is awesome.
I appreciate that, actually.
Oh, thank you.
Part of it's just the interest rate, when I talk to people and they
Okay,
go
ready to go?
mortgage and they just don't
Yeah, I don't know.
have equity.
You tell me, we can start whenever.
Okay.
How was the registration?
Hi, how are you?
Wait, who's 5 minutes? Yeah. How are you?
Really?
You know, no, but, somebody was looking for them.
So what I'm gonna
Yeah.
learn
Yeah.
is how to be a teacher without paying
So,
forever.
I'll send you the address.
Okay, yeah, do.
I know, the last ones I bought are just.
I'm too
Right,
frightened
yeah,
today.
yeah, it
doesn't.
Oh,
It doesn't dissolve.
I
I
love posting them, and so I said that you should consider either moving down for reverse mortgage with your own mortgage payment. And I say mortgage because it doesn't say no tax.
Right,
Because the mortgage is
Right.
just a mortgage.
right, right. Well, that's in our disclosures, we have to say that, if they say no tax.
Oh, yeah.
Disclaimer on the bottom, must maintain property taxes or
Yeah.
return.
Tom help you and then he's coming back and forth.
Oh, he's working on some stuff in the car.
Okay, is he gonna join us?
No, he's got his gym shorts on and
So he's gonna be waiting for you?
yeah.
Oh,
So, this is, well, let's see, yeah, the whole trauma of going, you just never know how to get up a step, you know, when you can't even move your legs, so it's come so far, you know, from what your fears were to begin with to what they are now. So now I feel like, oh, I guess I could sit in someone else's car, you know, I'm like, I can always sit in my own car, you know.
Just trying to figure out what you can and can't do, right?
Yeah,
If you can't do it, how to do it.
Alright, you can just twist it.
twist it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I really need some,
Everybody loves my
oh, cause I forgot to bring it, I just brought this back and it didn't have any lipstick or anything, and I'm like, oh, my lips are so dry.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing a triple open house in Hunter's
I
Point.
saw that and I shared it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It was just not getting the showings, and then dropped the price, and, you know, we
Is
dropped
it
the
any
bottom.
showings on hassles? What is their price now?
We dropped the price to, $592, and then, last Wednesday, we had 2 showings, but the price agent didn't provide any feedback.
It's gonna
So
be a couple more minutes.
follow up,
Cassie.
and then Danielle was like, no, what's the point?
So we're competing with the pennies.
I heard, really beg them for feedback.
That's all kids anyway.
I told them like 8:30 p.m. and then, please, the cells are, needing, to know.
My husband
visitors are.
saw some videos.
The one agent said, oh, it was the first day outing for my diet.
That's what we
I
did.
know,
One of the
I'm not
reasons-
sure where he's going with this, but he wants the community without the age. And then I was like, I just want to enjoy it as a selling point for a whole point for that house, right? So why are you not showing that property?
Basically,
And then the
it's the same
second
technology as the
agent said,
bank thing, you send the two.
yes,
buttons.
yeah.
It's the same thing, except with people.
They decided to.
So we have a new
use it.
bill, right?
So I'm trying to.
No, but it doesn't make
make
sense.
So that's fine,
It doesn't
know,
do that too.
which community.
You can hear the suction noise, so that's one of the reasons that we have it available to.
Oh, I don't
try,
remember.
because some people might not like
It
it.
is a, like,
You know, it's like-
4 days ago, and then your buyer was under contract.
Yeah.
And
Is it
then
pretty
they
loud?
said that,
It's louder than
yeah,
you
I'm just
think.
trying to advise myself.
Inside,
I
yeah, it's like-
was in
I mean, I'll say too, but they definitely more in
community, or
And it's
I was a
really
builder,
like,
like, oh, I'm just having a break.
This is my hand.
And, oh,
Because it was like everywhere in the house, there's little.
okay, is that similar price
Yeah,
point, or like?
well, if you called it, it's not a thing
They
anymore.
were trying to.
Yeah,
Well,
there was
she-
like a recent like thing,
That
that's
does
the
not sound normal.
and then they.
Yeah, well, that agent I called that.
But yeah, so that's where that's what.
But anyway.
Brought the whole
I guess,
I remember her doing
I
it.
shut it out, but I
basement.
said,
She also had a lot
I
of
should
shit.
buy a
She
shit.
might come down.
Yeah, we have like some elevators, throw the laundry, and we're just laying downstairs.
Where you
I
want
just-
to.
I just
watched
blurted
it
out,
out.
and she had said that,
big, so
and
it's
she
not
got
really-
killed, but like,
What's that?
yeah, I'm not going to tell you that. Oh, I'm sorry, well, thank you for sharing.
Why would you not tell? I mean, that's just anything on copper wires.
They didn't wanna show the last whole week because of 4th of July,
Oh, okay.
and then, they already moved out to.
Right,
Yeah.
I just wanna know if there's
Yeah.
any interest.
And
Any
then,
showings?
They said they're going to show this week, and then, there was a showing got declined last week. And then, the agent just scheduled it for today, so.
Oh, good.
Welcome, everybody. Aging Wisely series is presented to you by Transition Living Network. And Transition Living Network is 5 professionals serving in the senior space got together to provide knowledge and community resources to the consumer for seniors and caregiving families. And I'd like to introduce the members of Transition Living. There's Kelsey McClay. She is in the Medicare, and she's not here today. And then Cara Liley. She's a real estate broker with Guild. Is that Guild?
Brokers Guild.
A Brokers Guild. And Renata Anderson is a reverse mortgage specialist with Fairway Independent Mortgage. And Kimberly Diaz, she is with Care Matters Always, a home care provider, and then also everything, anything seniors, placement, and you have to tell, everything.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, and then Sherry Cree, I'm also a real estate broker with Ascendant Real Estate. I have focused in serving seniors and caregiving families with their real estate needs. And today's snack sponsor is Heather Reed. Would you like to come up here and introduce yourself?
I'm Heather Reed, a mobile notary. I cover the greater Denver metro area. You don't need me, you can go to your bank to get things notarized, but when you can't get to your bank, they won't come to your house or your hospital room. They won't come for they won't notarize certain documents. When you run into that, let me know. I also offer Legacy Vault subscriptions. I offer a lifetime subscription. It is online, secure document storage of unlimited documents. so that you can access them anywhere in the world. And if you mention Transition Living Network through Labor Day, I am offering half off of that lifetime subscription price. Just let me know, contact me, and let me know that you are familiar with Transition Living Network. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Heather is a lifesaver, she is, and many times with that notary.
Yes, yes. And then I want to introduce Thomas too.
Sorry about my delay there. I was actually talking with a customer, so.
Okay.
I'm just Thomas with Lifeway Mobility. Can we come up there and just do a quick little,
Sure.
can I come up there and say hi?
They want to see your face.
All that. Hello, my name is Thomas. I'm with Lifeway Mobility. I work with Cassie here. She'll be giving you a little bit more detailed information as to what we do. We take care of folks with disabilities and seniors, and we do everything we can to help them stay in their homes, keep them safe, whether it's on the stairs, getting into the home, into the tub, that type of thing. So that's what we do. We have a show home down in Inglewood. It's very nice. If you're ever down that area, it's a wonderful place to visit. So Thomas with Lifeway.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you. I think so as well.
So today's topic is safety through home modifications. Many seniors would like to stay where they are by modifying their home. The speaker, Cassie, is the Business Development Manager for Lifeway Mobility in Denver, Colorado. She is passionate about helping older adults and people with disabilities remain living at home safely and with dignity. She has worked for over a decade with this focus, including home care, home health, and home modifications. Cassie loves connecting people to resources and helping clinical teams create a safe discharge home for their patients. Welcome, Cassie.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Cassie, good morning. Thanks for having me. I'm just going to share a little bit about what we do and just some general home safety tips as well. My clicker to work. So I like to start out with just talking about some fall prevention tips. I'm sure most of you have probably heard these before, but keeping clutter out of your walkway so there's nothing to trip over. Removing other tripping hazards like rugs, or maybe like there's a collection of shoes at your front door like there is at my house. That kind of thing can definitely be a tripping hazard. Making sure you have adequate lighting throughout the house, but especially on the stairs. Most houses don't have lighting on the stairs, so it's something you can easily add. They even make these little motion detector lights you can install on each step so that once you get on the stairs, they automatically light up so you can see where you're going. Night lights are also a good thing to have around the house, because if you're walking around at night, being able to see where you're going is going to definitely help prevent a fall. Staying active, especially doing strength and balance exercises, can help prevent a fall just so that you're more physically able to catch yourself or prevent yourself from falling. Keeping commonly used items in reach. This is especially true in the kitchen, so that you don't have to get out the step stool. Anytime you have to get out the step stool, there's a tripping hazard. So things that you need to get to all the time, maybe even keep right on top of the counter, just so you don't have to try to reach for them. Ensure proper railings are installed on both sides of the stairs. So a lot of houses only have a railing on one side of the stairs. So just something to think about, having them installed on both sides of the stairs. And then in the bathroom, especially the shower, having grab bars installed, and having a non-slip mat in the shower to prevent falls as well. Something to keep in mind with the rug thing in the shower is a lot of people have a bath mat outside the shower, and that can be a tripping hazard. So just, it seems like something you need, but maybe there's an alternative that you could prevent a fall from not having that right outside of the tub. So no matter what kind of house you have, there are solutions to make it more accessible. So we have come up with some very interesting solutions over the years. There's really standard stuff, and then there's really customized items that we can do. So we are an equipment company, so we can install equipment like stair lifts and ramps, but we can also do construction, so bathroom remodeling, door widenings, custom solutions that would require us to build something. Most commonly asked questions. First is, when can you see the house? So we do a free home consultation with our home access specialist. Thomas is one of our home access specialists that can come to the house and take a look at those areas of concern and talk to you about what options you have, pricing, that kind of thing, to find the right solution for you and for your space. So we have to consider the person and their abilities, as well as the space, the layout, and what's going to work in that space. So usually we can get out there within 2 to 3 days, sometimes even sooner if there just happens to be an opening in the calendar, so really quick. How much does the equipment cost? Well, that's why we do those free home consultations, so that we can talk to you about all the options and all the different pricing, because it's going to depend on a lot of different factors. And then the best one, Medicare pays for this, right? No, they don't. I have to be the bearer of bad news all the time and let people know that Medicare does not cover home modifications. They see what we do as a home improvement and not a medical necessity, unfortunately. So that is the way it is at the moment and has been for a very long time. So Medicare does cover typical durable medical equipment. That's things like walkers, wheelchairs, canes, things like that, oxygenators. Those are the kinds of things that Medicare will cover that they consider durable medical equipment. What we do is really beyond durable medical equipment. There are some funding sources available, but 80% of what we do is private pay. So just keep that in mind, and that can be the most challenging part of what we do, is people that are on a fixed income desperately need something, but they don't have the money to pay for it. So there are some grants available. Medicaid has options through their waiver program under HCBS. 6 of the 10 waivers do have home modification coverage. And the VA also has grants available if you qualify as a veteran that will pay for home modifications. So here's a list of some of those other funding sources. There are some nonprofit organizations that can help. One in particular, Lifeway works with all the time, is called the Home Builders Foundation. They work just in the Denver metro area, and you can apply if you can't afford home modification, like say you need a ramp and you can't afford it, you can go onto the Home Builders Foundation website and apply for a ramp, and they pick a certain amount of projects a year that they can take on for free. So they're doing that, but you still have to go through the process, and that's the same with any funding source. So whether it's Medicaid or the VA, there's a process. So that can be a time-consuming process, so I just want to point that out as well. If it's something someone needs right now, going through one of those funding options is going to take a very long time, and that might not work for the time frame if you need something immediately at your house. We do also work with workman's compensation, vocational rehab, and sometimes long-term insurance plans will have some coverage for home modifications. I would say that's pretty rare, but it is possible. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention that if you have a prescription for equipment, like a stair lift, for instance, if you get a prescription from a doctor that says you need the stair lift, we can waive the sales tax. So it's a minor savings, but it is something. So these are the 4 main areas that we focus on when we go out and do these home consultations, is the entrances and exits. How are you getting in and out of your house? How are you getting up and down the stairs? How are you getting around in the bathroom? And anywhere transfers take place, which would be pretty much everywhere in the house. So let's talk about this. This is probably the most common barrier that we look at when we go out on our home consultation visits, and this is the entrance to the house from inside of the garage. There's almost always 1 or 2 steps, sometimes more. And even if you have a ranch style home, you'll probably still have this type of entrance in the garage. So the great thing about what we do is we can come up with several different solutions to solve the same problem. So if you call a company that just does ramps, they're going to sell you a ramp. They're not even going to talk to you about what other options might work for this. It's just a thought. Lots of different ways that we can help. So this first option here is just plain grab bars that we've installed on the door frame. So if you just need something to hold on to get up those stairs, especially if it's just 1 or 2 steps, that could be a really simple solution. The second solution, these are called angled PT rails. They just fold down from the wall, and then, like a railing, you can have something to hold on to. Or we can do a railing We have prefabricated railings, or we can do custom steel railings. We have a welder on staff that can make those custom, whatever color you need, you can match existing railings. We can also build something called easy steps. Easy steps are shorter than a regular step, about half the height, and then a lot of times they are deeper as well. So you could even potentially use like a standard walker on them and walk up the steps, or just make it easier to go up the steps because you don't have to lift your legs as far. So that's a custom built solution that we can do with the railings. Or of course, we can do a modular ramp, which is what usually people are thinking when they call. They think, I need a ramp. They might not know whether a ramp is going to actually work, but that's the one solution that they are aware of and just assume that's what they need. You might also have an entrance that's down the stairs. This is like a garden level entrance, so there's no possible way a ramp would work here. So an outdoor stair lift was the solution in this case. But if you have multiple steps, so say you have more than 2 steps, a stair lift in the garage might actually be a better solution than a ramp. It's going to take up less space and in some cases be less expensive. So if parking in the garage is important to you, this might be something to consider. But also the ability of the person would be considered. Can they transfer from a wheelchair to the stair lift? Is that an option for them? If it's not, maybe a vertical platform lift would be the solution. So getting in and out of the house through this, it actually has a little ramp that, oops, I'm pushing the wrong buttons all over the place, you guys. Has a little ramp here that you roll onto the lift. The lift goes up and down. Here's the picture of the person in it. Now this one here is just a lift. So anyone going in and out of this door is going to have to use the lift. Many times we will build a platform and stairs to go along with the vertical platform lift so that other people could still use the stairs, but it totally depends on the space and what the preference of the client is. So those were all solutions to one problem, was getting in the house through the garage. You can also use vertical platform lifts on the outside of the house. So this is a front porch. These people didn't have a garage, so this was the best solution in this case. And then back to that ramp math, if you have more than 2 steps, a ramp is going to get really big. So the proper slope of a ramp would be 12 inches of ramp for every 1 inch of rise. So if you have 4 steps in your garage, at 7 inches a step, that's 28 inches. It's 28 feet of ramp, not including the platforms for turning. So that's probably not even going to fit in the garage. It's enormous. Plus, nobody wants to wheel up 28 feet of ramp. That just sounds exhausting. And it's going to be very expensive, especially compared to like the stair lift solution I showed you earlier. It's going to be like 3 times the price of that. And it's going to take up your entire garage or possibly not even fit in the garage. So in that case, a ramp's probably not the best solution. So we're all about finding the best solution. This is something we hear all the time. My neighbor's going to build me a ramp. My son's going to build me a ramp. Somebody with probably very good intentions and probably even skills to build something properly, but have they ever built a ramp before? Do they know what the proper slope of a ramp should be? Do they know how to make that happen? We have seen so many times these homemade ramps that we have to come in and replace with something safer. Oftentimes they are built without handrails or without any kind of guards on the side, so you can just roll right off the edge of the ramp. Most of the time they are not the proper slope, and the person using the ramp is terrified to use the ramp. We had one recently, I don't have the picture in here because I haven't updated my slides yet. Her son built her a beautiful wooden ramp. It was gorgeous, but it was way too steep, and she could not manage it with her wheelchair. So they called us, and we had to put a modular system basically on top of the wood ramp that he spent all that time building, because the one he built just didn't work. So I would just say, if you hear something along those lines, just to recommend maybe get an expert consultation before you make a decision on what you're going to do, just so you can understand what it means to have a really safe, truly safe ramp. Also, wood ramps we can do, and we can also do concrete ramps. They take a lot longer, they are more expensive, but also wooden ramps require a lot more maintenance. So they're going to be, you have to keep the wood nice, you have to stain them just like you would like a wood deck or something like that. So just keep in mind that they're more slippery when they're wet. It's harder in the elements if they're outside, things like that. We can also do portable ramps. So if you just have one step that you have to get over, a modular ramp would be kind of excessive. So these portable ramps can work really well for that. They go up to 8 feet. So that's why I say they're really only for one step if you want that proper slope, because you can't really go beyond that 8 feet, but they can fold up and they can be taken with you. So maybe there's one step at your daughter's house and you like to go over there a lot, and you can bring this with you so you can get into your daughter's house. Here's some other pictures of portable ramps that we've done. So you can see like this first picture here, they have 2 steps, but they're really, really long in between. So instead of putting a big modular ramp up there, we can put one at the door and one at the other step. And that's going to be a lot less cumbersome than a big modular ramp. We can do threshold ramps. These can be inside or outside just to get over the threshold of a doorway, commonly used in like a sliding glass door situation to get over that track. Then when we go into stairs, the most common solution would be a stair lift. Common misconceptions about a stair lift is that they somehow attach to the wall or damage your walls, and that is not true. They do not even touch the wall. They attach only to the stair treads, and not to every stair tread, just every few, and it's just a few little screw holes that attach it to the stairs. Once you no longer need it, it can easily be uninstalled, and if it's carpeted stairs, you usually can't even tell anything was there. If it's wood stairs or something like that, you might have to fill those little screw holes, but still very minor damage is being done to the house. When you use a stair lift, when you get to the top to exit, the chair actually swivels away from the stairs so you can safely exit without being on the stairway. This comes in a motorized version as well, so if you can't manually swivel the chair, there's one you can get with a button that will swivel the chair for you automatically, if that's not something you have the dexterity to do. Also, they fold up when they're not being used. So this is what it looks like unfolded, and this is folded up. This particular model only takes up about a foot away from the wall, so it's very little space it's taking up so that other people can still use the stairs, you can still carry big laundry baskets past it, and it's not taking up a lot of extra space. Now, if you have a landing in your steps or turns, there are options for that. So this here is showing you a custom curved stair lift. If you have a straight set of stairs with a landing and then another set of straight stairs, you could potentially do this solution here, which is 2 straight stair lifts where you have to transfer from one to the other on that landing. So that's going to depend on a lot of factors. The person's ability to transfer, how big the landing is, do they need a caregiver with them to do the transfer, is there room for the caregiver to stand there and do the transfer and have 2 of these chairs on the landing. All of those things we like to talk about, and we really want people to think about the future. So yeah, maybe this works right now, but 2 years from now, are you still going to be able to do that transfer? Because we've had to come in and put in a curved stair lift after somebody's already had these 2 stair lifts, and then they end up buying a lot more stair lift in the long run than if they had just got the curved one to begin with. So we kind of just try to get people to think about long term about what's going to work for them later. So here's some other pictures of curved stair lifts. So if you have an actual curved set of stairs, this is really the only possible solution. Same with this. This is these little like pie-shaped steps here. So really the curved option is the only way to go. This was like someone's mountain cabin. It was really pretty beautiful. And these are pretty rare to find these curved stair lifts, but like curved stairways like that, but it is something that exists. Here's a few other pictures of some curved stair lifts. You can see like this one has a landing, but there's a step right here in between the landing. So really the curved stair lift is the best option. They can park out of the way of the stairway, which is really cool if you do a curved stair lift. So these are custom made by hand using really cool technology where they scan your stairs, make this to fit your specific staircase. Another feature is the folding rail. So if the stair lift goes beyond the stairway here, so if this is a main thoroughfare of like people walking by, you want that rail to be out of the way so it doesn't cause a tripping hazard. So you can get a folding rail that automatically folds up when the stair lift is up and away. So so nothing there is the way, because it might also maybe block a doorway, like this situation here. This was like the door to a bedroom, so they had to have that folding rail there so they could still use that door. Now, if someone is not able to transfer and they are using their wheelchair full time, like a power chair for instance, an incline platform lift might be a solution for them. So this is a platform that rides up and down the stairs. You just wheel onto it, takes you upstairs, you wheel off of it. Now this is a lot bigger than a stair lift. So you do need to have at least 36-inch wide stairs for this to work, and you would need to have space for it to park at the bottom here. So it is a much larger solution, it is more costly, but if that's the best solution, it's possible that we can get that to work in your house. Elevators would be the other solution of getting up and down levels. This is a through the floor elevator, so it's one of our least expensive elevators because it doesn't have a shaftway that we have to construct, so there's less construction involved in something like this. It can only traverse 2 levels, so when the elevator is up, this is what you see on the bottom level, and then the bottom of it becomes the ceiling here, and then vice versa, when it's down, the top of it becomes the flooring on the top level. So it's a really cool idea, and it takes up less space, and you can fit a wheelchair in there. But we have many other styles of elevator available, full cab elevators that have the shaftway. We have a pneumatic vacuum elevator that is like a tube that it comes in different sizes, and that's the same technology that they use at the bank to send up your little tube into the thing. So it's all the same except with people, which is kind of cool. These are things we have at the showroom. So we have a showroom in Inglewood that you can come and actually try out all these solutions. You can ride a stair lift, you can ride the elevator, you can even try out a ramp at different slopes so you can feel the difference and why we recommend the proper slope that the ADA requires. Now onto bathrooms. Usually the biggest barrier in the bathroom is getting into the bathroom because for some reason the doorways on the bathroom are smaller. So getting a wheelchair or a walker through there can be pretty tricky. The easiest solution is something called swing away hinges, and that's what you see here. These hinges replace the regular hinges on the door. Anyone can install these. They're available at Home Depot, Lowe's, Amazon. Really simple solution, very inexpensive. What it does is it actually removes the door from the door frame altogether, so you gain back whatever the width of that door was, 1 to 2 inches. And usually that's all you need to fit that walker or wheelchair through the door, is just a little bit of extra space. So this is a great solution, super easy. If that's not enough, maybe a barn door would work. We can also do pocket doors, but that requires a lot of construction. You usually gotta move electrical, it gets very costly. So a barn door is a great alternative to a pocket door. And then in the bathroom, let's talk about integrated grab bars. So everyone knows what grab bars look like, but these newer grab bars are like disguised as other things. So it's really cool, and they come in lots of colors. So this is a grab bar here in the corner that just looks like a shelf that you put your shampoo on. It's a grab bar. This part that goes around the faucet is a grab bar. This soap dish is a grab bar. Towel bar. Notice that there is a place for the towel and the place to hold on to. Those shouldn't be the same place, because if you have a towel on there and you go to grab it, it could slip and then you're gonna fall anyway. So make sure that you're not just using a regular grab bar as a towel bar, because that's not a safe grip. And a toilet paper holder can be a grab bar. So there's lots of ways to hide grab bars now, and they come in lots of different finishes, so you can match whatever is in your bathroom. Other equipment options for the bathroom include PT rails that can fold down from the back. I hate this picture because everything in it is white, and you can't even see the stupid bars. But this is the picture we have for the PT rails. But they fold down when you need them, and they fold up when you don't need them, so they're not taking up space, which is great because bathrooms can be very tiny. You could also use a super pole. This is a pole mounted from the ceiling to the floor, and it has this little horizontal bar on it that rotates around, so you can use that for transfers. These can actually be used anywhere in the house, but a bathroom is a great place to get in and out of the tub, on and off the toilet. You can get a rail that attaches to the side of a tub. And then if you need a raised toilet, instead of buying a whole new toilet, you could install what we call a toilevator, which just raises the toilet up from the bottom, instead of adding one of those big clunky seats on top that are hard to clean. This is almost not even noticeable. Most people wouldn't even notice it was there. Here's some pictures of super poles being used throughout the house. So it could be next to your favorite armchair, next to your desk chair, next to your bed. Anywhere you need help with those transfers, you could put one of these super poles. In the bathroom, maybe you need help on and off the toilet. I'm sure you've all seen lift chairs before that are recliners that actually lift you up to a standing position. This is the same idea, but it's a toilet seat. So it just is a little push of a button. It will slowly raise you up to almost completely standing, and you can use it to sit down. Same idea. It will slowly lower you down onto the toilet. This just replaces the regular toilet seat, so you don't have to get a whole new toilet. This is just replacing the toilet seat. Maybe you still want to take a bath, but getting in and out of the bathtub is really hard. A bath lift is a great solution, not permanent, can be removed easily. It's not installed anywhere. It's just in the bathtub, and for a standard size bathtub, this works great. The little wings on it act as a slide transfer board. When you push the button, it lowers you down and reclines you back so you can soak in the water, and then you push the button and it lifts you back up all the way out, and then you just have to be able to swing your legs over the side of the tub, transfer back out of the tub. So if you still want to take a bath, there are options. This is another option for getting in and out of either a shower that has a big curb on it, like a 3-inch curb, or a tub. So they make this in different sizes, but it's a track system that attaches to the chair that you can slide back and forth. So here's it showing in the tub, detached from the track. And then you just reattach the track to get them out. It can double as a toileting chair, so less transfers. We're all about eliminating transfers. And if you want to go permanent and you want to actually remodel your bathroom to be more accessible without a bunch of equipment, we can do that. So this is the most common thing we do as far as bathroom remodeling, is removing a tub, putting in a walk-in shower. This one is a walk-in shower because it still has a tiny little curb here, but we can also do a roll-in shower if that's necessary. A true roll-in has no lip at all, and so you can just wheel right in with no barrier whatsoever. And that's pretty much it. So I talked about a lot of things there. We do more than just what I talked about, but I was trying to keep it short and sweet and talk about the most important things. But mostly it's that home consultation that we do. We want to come out and talk to you about those areas of concern and go over all the options with you so you can get the best possible solution. Any questions? Yes?
I know that it's unique to each different house.
Yes.
But the elevator that just goes from one level, like from a ranch to a basement.
Yes.
Do you have a range, even if it's a $5,000 range, that the elevator would start at?
They start around $40,000. Would
Okay.
be the least expensive option with the least amount of construction, but it will depend on what we need to do to make the elevator work in the space. But yes, so
Okay.
I would say minimum $40,000.
Yeah, just to get some idea, a lot of us here are in the business of helping people,
Yep.
you know, to modify so that they can stay.
Right.
And so that's great.
New
Yeah.
construction normally can be 5 to 15,000.
On top of the elevator.
The
It
elevator.
might not be anything, or, very
Yeah.
close to it, depends on, we work with people who actually are in the industry, so they've got construction people and they can do them, so.
And then I was just gonna mention
Yes.
that lift that you showed for the garage door,
Yes.
there is a group home that has one that it actually goes from like the basement up to.
Yeah, they can go pretty high.
Yeah.
Mhm, yeah. It doesn't have to be just a couple steps. Those
Right.
vertical platform lifts, I think, can go like what, 14?
At least 14.
14
There's,
feet.
The New Gary Ventures that we're working with, go I think 23.
Yeah, so there
Depends on local codes.
depends on the manufacturer, but there's different options. Yes. And that's
So
another
from the
reason that we have so many
basement to
brands.
upstairs.
Well, so the house is a 2-story house,
Uh-huh.
but it's kind of like, reminds me of a basement, I mean, it's not a basement,
Yeah.
but and the lift just goes.
It depends on the situation, that whether you benefit from a vertical platform lift or an elevator, there are different benefits and such things, so.
Yeah.
Because a vertical platform lift is basically an open elevator,
Right.
it's just not enclosed,
Yeah.
but it also has limitations for height.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes?
So I have participated in a volunteering to build a project called the Map This House by Home Builders
Yes.
Association.
Mm-hmm.
Are you part of the Home?
Yeah, the
Builders
ramp
Association?
lifts.
Yeah.
Yes. We have sponsored that many times. We've built ramps for them. I've delivered breakfast to teams before in years past that are building ramps.
So Cassie may have class in the past.
Yes, probably. Yes, we're highly involved with the Home Builders Foundation. In fact, the general manager of the Denver branch is on the board of directors for the Home Builders Foundation.
So as a realtor, that I'm probably situation that this topic come up is consulting clients that like they're like debating, you know,
Whether or not that house will work for them?
We should, you know, typically the homeowner wants to stay, and they probably have to do like a cost comparison of how much it's gonna cost to modify where they
Versus
are.
moving. Yeah, we do that a lot. We have a lot of real estate agents that call us, and we meet with the real estate agent oftentimes, especially with elevators, because that can be a thing that they're like, we want to buy this house, but we want to make sure that an elevator would work in it, and we'd like to know how much that would cost before we actually decide to buy the house. So we will go out and do those kinds of consultations as well. Or maybe it's for other kinds of modifications, whatever the case may be. Yes.
Do you have anything to help with a fall? So they fall in to help them get up.
There is a product that I cannot remember the name of right now. There's something we can get. It's not a product that we really promote or have one. It like lays on the ground.
Right.
It's made by the same people that make this flex step thing where the steps turn into a lift. And they also make this, I wish I could remember what it's called, but I could send you the information, Kimberly, because I can find it. But it's something you can order. It's basically, it's like a chair that folds flat, and then you get it under the person, and then you push a button, and it like slowly lifts them off the ground. So I have seen that. I've actually tried it out myself because we went to a client's house that had one.
We used to have one in our office.
Yeah, we just don't have one in the office, but I know we can get them if that's something somebody wants. And I've tried it out myself, where I've actually tried it, and it's pretty slick.
There's one assisted living. She's got like 23 assisted livings, and she's got them in each of her homes.
Oh, that's
I
smart.
think it's just great.
Because then you don't have to call the fire department.
Exactly.
So, I'm a big fan of
I
that.
work with it. He's following
Yeah.
all, that's
Anytime
fine.
we don't have to call the fire department is good. So.
Yeah, you don't need that red flag over you.
Yes, because usually those people end up calling them repeatedly,
Yeah.
and
then they have
sometimes.
to call somebody else.
Yeah. So, yes. So yes, that is a product that we can get. It's just
Okay.
not one that we're really promoting.
Okay.
So it is available.
Yeah.
What do you see in your home mobility modification industry right now? Like, is there a trend, or, you know?
I don't know, what do you think, Thomas?
What was the?
Is it a trend going on in like home modifications?
In your
Yes, there's a lot of, I see a little bit more multi-generational living going on, mom and dad moving in, or someone moving in with mom and dad, and then they're, you know, doing a separate area for the basement, you know, and so we're gonna spend and get like the curved stairlift. The reason earlier when she was talking about two straight ones or a curved one, single curved stairlift will cost more than two straight ones would. So in that custom type situation, but we're seeing a lot more of that. We're bringing mom and dad in, this is where they're gonna live now, and therefore we're gonna put in what they need, which would be a curved stairlift. And even if there's some extra costs involved, if you can keep someone there for 2 or 3 months longer than they would have, otherwise it's paid for itself. Now, if you keep them there for 5 more years, it's paid for itself all that.
So a curved stairlift, what would the price range on that be?
Generally speaking, around 14 to say 21,000.
Oh, that's half of an elevator.
Yes.
Sure.
Oftentimes we go out to consult on an elevator and it turns into a curved stairlift.
A custom.
I think it's also about
Yes.
3 or 4 months in assisted living.
Yeah.
Exactly. Think about it that way.
Yeah.
I always say a stairlift is cheaper than moving, because a straight stairlift
Yeah.
is less than $4,000.
Well, and that never mind the cost of downsizing
All
and
of that,
moving. and
all of that,
that.
yeah.
Just the cost of the movers alone.
Yeah, it's just the moving part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh,
Cassie, you've done a great job, but I have a suggestion
Yes.
on your white picture that you don't like.
Yeah.
Just upload it into AI, tell it to color the.
That's
the
not a
rails.
bad idea.
Yeah, it'll happen in 2 seconds.
Yeah, you're right. You're
Just
so
do
right.
the blue or whatever
I'm
your
kind
guys'
of
color.
like AI averse people, so like.
Once you
So
try it, you will never
current
use it.
I'm just old school like that. But that is a great idea. I might do that.
The devil.
It's really cool. I love it.
I was just gonna mention that, I think most of us here, but if you have an opportunity to go to their showroom,
Yes.
it's really cool.
I'm
You know,
happy
it's
to
amazing,
see
it's
last
fun,
time. It's pretty cool.
It's really,
Happy to give you a tour anytime if you want to come see it.
You know what just came in my marketing mind was preparing in advance with all those wonderful tools that
I
you
wish,
have.
yeah.
All those grab bars, cause we kinda did, and then I had a fall, so my house had all the grab bars on the outside and the inside. Wonder if that would be a package, Thomas, that you could say, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we really tried, let me tell you. If I could get on my soapbox, it would be, everyone should prepare for
Yeah.
this. Because what happens is people don't call us until after there's been a fall.
Oh, and then it's a crisis.
Then there's a crisis situation, they're in rehab, we have to have this ramp by Friday, or they can't come home.
Thursday, yeah.
Yes, those are the situations. Very, very rarely do we get people doing this sort of thing before as a preventative measure. It's always like after something awful has happened.
Well, that's kind of our Transition Living Network vision, is to say, this is gonna happen,
Right.
be
It's
prepared.
not if, it's when.
Absolutely.
So let's.
And like, especially with the stair lift, people think, oh, well, I don't need a stair lift. And they literally like, go to like resource fairs and people will do this. And they'll be like, I don't need that. I don't need that. And they like back away from me like I'm contagious or something.
Those bars from the outside, where you, even when you have one step, if there's a bar, it's so helpful for even guests.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, what a good idea.
If they're there, you will use them.
Right.
Whether or not you need them, if they are installed, people will hold on to them when they get it. It'll just automatically
Even
happen.
one step,
Yeah.
when you're having the issues with balance,
Yeah.
it needs to be.
All showers should have them.
It should just be a standard bathroom
It
thing.
should be, it would save thousands of lives.
It sure would. I totally agree. Because anyone could fall in the
Just
shower.
single
It doesn't matter how old you are. Anyone could fall in the shower.
We should learn about that.
Can I give a plug for
Yes.
your ceiling track?
Yeah, the ceiling
Hoyer
lifts.
Lift too.
yeah.
The manual Hoyer lifts require so much
So much
more
space. So much space.
They're wonderful.
Never mind your bag.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you use what you've got, but you guys offer a ceiling tracked
Mhm.
Hoyer lift that can run from the bed
Anywhere you
to
want.
the shower.
It's totally
To
customized.
yeah, so, and it doesn't take up floor space, which is this huge.
It's humongous, especially if you want to use it in the bathroom, forget about it. It's humongous. It's made for facilities like hospitals and
Right.
rehabs. That's what Hoyer lifts are for.
Or
Not
it
really
also
for
makes
residential.
a device that will lower you down once you get beyond the staircase, yes? It goes here, and then it will lower you,
Mhm.
and then bring you up, and then take you.
Another thing that's really cool about the ceiling lift, if you have the body support system that we sell through SureHands, you can actually go all the way down to the ground, which you're probably wondering like, why in the world would I want to get on the ground? Well, one lady with MS, we put one in her house, and that was her favorite feature because she could get on the floor and play with her dog again.
Oh.
And she couldn't do that before because she had no way of getting onto the floor, let alone getting off of the floor.
So it's not like she was staying on the floor. just
Right.
Going down it, yeah.
Right. So you could get out and you could put yourself back in and get back off the floor without any help from a caregiver. So those ceiling lifts can be life-changing in that way.
Now, I know you mentioned Medicaid, HCBS. Do you
Yeah.
guys do anything with Innovage at all?
Well, Innovage is paid for through Medicaid.
Right.
But if they're on one of those waivers, they should be able to do home modifications in addition to whatever Innovage services they're getting.
Okay.
So if they're still living at home and they need something, they should be able to access that if they are on. The one that you're probably gonna see the most is the elderly, blind, and disabled
Yeah.
waiver.
Yeah.
That one has home modification coverage. So a lot of people don't know that that's one of their benefits. They know they're on this waiver, but they don't really know what all the benefits of the waiver are, so.
Somebody probably explains it to them.
Probably. Case managers at Medicaid are a little overwhelmed and the turnover is a bit insane. So not a lot of knowledge being passed along to those people, so.
Adams County APS is going through that
Oh,
right now
yeah.
too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This It's a
If
huge
you own the home, you can always do a reverse mortgage.
I was thinking.
Yeah,
about
to
that.
get
I mean,
all
that's,
this
yeah,
done.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
can stay home.
Again, it's a time thing, so that's why.
Timing
doing
is,
it
timing
when you
is a
don't
big
need
factor.
it and having it available is
Right.
important, but,
Right.
because
But again, nobody plans ahead.
Right,
Why is that?
Only we all
On
just
the
plan
floor and
ahead.
break your finger.
Yeah.
I pretty much almost always tell all my customers, say, look, just watching you, you need a stair lift. Whether you buy it from me or one of my competitors, get a stair lift. And I said, I tell them, you wanna hear a really cheesy sales line, it's, do me a favor and get one a day early, not a day late.
Yeah.
But it really, it makes them laugh, and but it's very true though, it's very, it's like, I don't care if you buy one from a competitor.
And-
I don't want you to, obviously, but please, you need a stair lift, don't wait for the carpet.
Agreed.
Then they call and say, well, Bob fell and broke his hip, please put it in, we'll do the carpet next year.
You know, you just hit the jackpot. I'm going around with, I have a client who has a 2-story and they need a ranch or they need the stair. I'll just call them and tell them I was here, give them this video and tell them that just get it now before you fall.
We'll get Thomas out there, he'll.
Yeah, Georgetown.
I always tell people, just because you have the stair lift doesn't mean you have to use it every day.
Right.
Maybe you only use it on bad days when you're feeling weaker or tired. And the rest of the time, if you're feeling good, walk up and down the stairs. But then it's there if you do need it, and then if you're having a bad day, you're not gonna fall down the stairs, you just take the stair lift.
I would say use it comes from remote control, so maybe you want it for exercise, which is a horrible place to get exercise. The PTs say that all the time, use your stairs for exercise, which is just a idiotic thing, but they still do it. Okay, use it for your exercise for walking up, use a stair lift to come down. If you fall walking up, you're gonna bruise your arm and your ego a little bit. But if you fall going down the stairs, you're gonna change your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
So use a remote control and bring it back down.
You can also use it to carry stuff up down the stairs with that remote control. So, because that could be the risk, is that you're not holding onto the railings because you're holding your basket of laundry instead. So maybe use the stair lift to move the laundry and you walk up the stairs, but you're not holding anything to move.
I had a person buy one because they can do the stairs fine, but their big old, very overweight dog no longer do the stairs.
We've seen a lot of dogs riding stair lifts. We have a lot of photos of
They
dogs
sleep
riding
their
stairs.
dogs everywhere.
Well, this was being live on, the Anything, Facebook page, and it will be uploaded to their YouTube page. So we'll have this video, and you've done an excellent job.
Thank you.
Cassie. Really informative.
You want to mention on the video about your tutorial archive?
Oh yeah, so every month we offer a free webinar that is shot live from our showroom where we have live demonstrations and we can take questions. So you can either sign up and watch it live, or we have the recordings available online that you can go back and watch. So if you're interested in going more in depth than what I did here today, those are available for free. And then if you happen to be a clinician, you can actually get a free CEU credit if you attend the live webinar. It's a 3-part series, so you can get up to 3 credits.
Thank you.
Very